What is up, guys? Israel here, back at it again with another video. Today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to master Career Week and how to get the most out of it and get the most bang for your buck. So let's get right into it. Hopefully the camera quality is better and the audio is better. If not, then womp womp. But this is how we do. We're going to figure things out. So first things first, when it comes to Career Week, you need to know what companies are coming, what events we're going to have, and the such. And of course, again, even though this is a little bit more specific to SOM students, people in the business school, it is also universal for all Binghamton students. So you could look up on the internet here, Binghamton University Career Week, and you'll have all of these come up. So there's three main events. We have the Career Week, which are different events that happen every day during the week with different companies, and then there's Employer Networking Night, which is right here, and that deals with more of a bunch of companies being in one place during typically in the Mandela Room for one day at night from I think 7 to something. And then we have the Job and Internship Fair, which is a completely different thing. At the calendar, as you can see here, winter break right now, and we're going on, classes start the 21st. As you can see here, just a bunch of career services, and then we get into the actual Career Week, which is on the 3rd. Now, a quick point about career services is before you go to any of these events, you need to have your resume ready and you need to have your LinkedIn prepared, because they will be looking at your LinkedIn if you're a great candidate at the end, or even sometimes before if they know you, but typically you want to have those in tip-top shape, and the way to do that is to go to career services, making sure that you have the right stuff to put on your application to be a well candidate that they want. So that's important. Go to these career weeks events. However, if you're already in the school and you're going to the next semester, I would highly advise you to go before the semester ends or a little bit earlier, because during this week is when it really ramps up with a lot of people going to career services, as well as freshmen, since they're kind of required to go to career services for Management 111. So that's important to look out for. You want to see the time here that PwC has, and you want to align it with your calendar. Now, if you have the time available to go to the SOM lobby, and you have free time, that's great. Sometimes you will have conflicting times with an event and class, and in that case, it goes down to two routes. One, you can say you can forego the event, and you will be all right, no problem, I'll just see them later, maybe at the Employer Networking Night, or you will skip class or skip whatever you have, or figure out a way to get there, right? So there's two stances on this. One, I would be more in favor for the student to go to the event if they're more of a junior or senior, because you need these opportunities if you haven't gotten some of them when you were a freshman or a sophomore. With that being said, if you're a freshman or a sophomore, even though I recommend more of the junior and seniors to do that, to just try to go to these events as much as they can, I don't think it's the best move freshman year for you to skip class for this type of thing, or skip anything that you have for these type of events. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't be going to them if you have the option to. It's just typically when it comes to internships and job opportunities, that's more reserved for the sophomores and up, later sophomores and up. Freshman year, you do not have to worry about this as extensively as if you were a junior, a senior, and a sophomore. The opportunities for those things are from sophomore level and up. So that's one thing to consider. Again, it's not the best practice to skip class. Do what you will. However, these are opportunities, and you do not want to miss out on them. And it's just up to your discretion, up to what you think is right, because no one is going to hold your hand. No one is going to necessarily help you with these things, with these game time decisions. So it's important for you to figure out what you want to do. So that's a big thing. And once you figure out the time and you figure out the event that you want to go to, right? you have to figure out a game plan in terms of what are you trying to get out of the event. Because I've seen so many times people go to the event and they just like sit there and just think that because the recruiter is there and the people from the respective companies are there, that they're going to go to them and that it's solely driven by the company. However, that is not the case. You need to get up out of your seat after they do their introduction, whatever in the beginning about who they are, what the company is about. You need to go out there, talk to the professionals. I know it's uncomfortable, especially if you're just starting, if you're just a freshman or a sophomore. It may be a little nerve-wracking because you've never been taught this for the most part, and it's just something weird and not entirely discussed on how to do. But you need to go up there. So what do you say and what do you plan out? The big thing here is to make sure that you have already done the research of their company. Doing not necessarily extensive research because there are multiple companies coming, and if you don't know, you don't know which one you want. So it's important before you go to look up, like let's say we're doing the PwC tabling event. We're gonna go on to PwC's website and you will see they have all these things listed on their website that you can look into, their insights. But the big thing in terms of looking them up is understanding what their ideals are, what are their company goals and their aspirations and that type of thing, on top of going on LinkedIn and looking up possibly the recruiter or other alumni at PwC and either forecasting, networking talks with them and then seeing them when they come here, or just simply doing a quick search on what alumni are there, and if they're there, then you can say, hey, I saw you on LinkedIn, yada yada yada, whatever. But these things, this whole Career Week event is all about doing your research and figuring out the direction that you want to go, the people that you want to talk to, because the worst mistake you can make is to, one, not go to the event, but two, when you go to the event, feel absolutely lost. And that's okay, but the thing is, that's why I'm making this video, because there's not a lot of direction in terms of what to do. So with that being said, for the plan of action for PwC, we would go on here, the career services page, or if you're an SOM, you'll get it emailed to you right away. See that it's from 10 to 1 p.m., see if I can make it, or if I can make some adjustments to make it. And after that, I would go on PwC's website like I just did, look at all the stuff on their website, what are they about, what are their goals, maybe look on LinkedIn, get a little piece of knowledge from there, and then go and see what do I want out of the event. And for some people, like I said, it's just to sit there and just enjoy, and there's nothing wrong with that, but you're not going to really get the opportunity that you want to get if you don't go after it and talk to the recruiter, talk to the people there, because they are there for a reason, and it's to supplement you with knowledge and to also help you in whatever way. So that's huge. And so this is 1 week, and this week is important because it makes you see what you want, where you want to go. If you're not doing accounting, does it make sense to go to the accounting recruiter roundtable? Okay. No. If you don't want to go to PwC, if you've seen that the goals that are not aligning with what you want, then you don't have to go to that, right? You don't have to go to every single event, right? That's another key thing. You don't need to be an overachiever. You can if you want to, but it's kind of a waste of time. So I realized while I was editing this that I was just really focusing on the planning and the research aspect of when you go to these networking events, which is like super huge. Like, you should be doing that first. But I didn't really go in depth in terms of what do you say. When it comes to these conversations, it's all about framing it in a different way. I see networking as a way for me to get to know other people. And I think that's how it should be framed. It shouldn't be framed as a means to, oh, I'm going to talk to you in order to get something out of it, okay? I know I was talking about results-based, but I was talking about that in a sense where you can either network with just the people that work there, or you could just go straight for the recruiter. There's two different avenues. Again, people go straight to the recruiter and feel like they don't really need to talk to everyone else because they need to get, that's their way of getting their internship, however, or getting something out of the networking. However, it's both ways are beneficial. I don't, if the recruiter's talking to someone, then you should be able to then look at if there's other people that worked at the company and talk to them. You want to get an outlook on what they're doing, how they're doing, what is their experience at the company, right? And not to mention, if you do build a connection, you do get an understanding of how they are feeling, how they're doing at this company, then they will most likely vouch for you when your resume pops up in front of the recruiter, because they found that, hey, you're actually a good person, you're a good person to talk to, you're going to be engaging, and you're going to be fun for the company, right? Like, these are things that you need to change the way of thinking. And of course, it's kind of difficult because it's new, and it's like, how do I talk to adults? I mean, technically when you're in college you are an adult, right? But it's still very different, and it's something that takes practice. And so even though I did suggest earlier on, freshmen, you don't really need to do it, I think if you do have the option, again, you should go so that you can break that shell a little bit before going in sophomore year and being like, okay, wow, this is a lot. Because, I mean, truth be told, I only went to two, maybe 3 events freshman year, but I did not prioritize it as much as when I became a sophomore. Nevertheless, when you do go up and talk to the recruiter, or you talk to someone who works in the company, there's really no difference in terms of what you say. You simply start off by introducing yourself. So for me, I'm like, hello, my name is Israel Richardson. I'm a junior at Binghamton University studying MIS and whatever. And you don't need to list out your GPA, but what is important is you to list out your activities and what you've been doing. But the thing is, you don't want to regurgitate what is on your resume, right? You want to kind of make it more alive, but you want to make it quick. This introduction should be no more than 2 minutes or 3 minutes. And of course, it depends on the person and how the conversation is flowing. But typically, you just want to state out, who you are, what you've been doing on campus. After that, you want to question them. Hey, so how is your position? What do you like about your position? What is so interesting about your day? What is your typical day in the life? All these things. How is the culture? These are questions that you should be asking. It's not like, I feel like when people go into it, they're just asking it because it's something to ask, whereas it's not something that they're genuinely interested in. And you need to be able to, bring that sort of questioning atmosphere as if you're getting to really know someone. And that's huge. And that'll make the conversation easier. It'll make everything feel more lighter, less pressure, because you're literally just getting to know somebody. And that's kind of the essential part of it. And it's just introducing yourself and then asking whoever you're talking to, doesn't matter if it's the recruiter or not, about their experience and how they got to where they are. And other, questions that you would ask a regular person that you just met, a new friend, right? And that's the same way for both the Career Week events and the SOM Employer Night. However, as I'll state later in the video, the SOM Employer Networking Night is a lot more difficult to talk to everybody. So when you do get there, it's typically just the recruiter, and you want to have a relatively quicker introduction as opposed to when you have the Career Week event, where it's like you have more time to speak with everybody. But either way, it's kind of the same way, except typically at SOM Employer Networking Night, you want to ask, hey, what opportunities do you have for such and such field, or for me, or what do you think is the right direction? Those are the kind of questions you would ask at SOM Employer Networking Night, simply for the lack of time that you have to actually get to know and understand more about what's going on. But that is basically the communication aspect, parted with the product planning, scheduling aspect of it. Hopefully this was helpful, and let's get back to the video. As I said, find the event that you want to go to it, and make the most out of it by talking to the recruiter, talking to the people that are working there, and make an outline on what you're going to say, who you're going to talk to, etc. That also coincides with Employer Networking Night. This is huge because a lot of people I hear get a lot of negative feedback from this, and the only reason people get these negative experience from Employer Networking Night is because it's solely one time at night and a bunch of companies are there and you're just kind of stranded. What company do I talk to? And because it's at one time with all these companies, you can expect the volume of students who didn't go to the previous shorter events during networking career week, where you're able to talk one-on-one a lot quicker, a lot easier than the big employer networking night. They all go there to networking night and expect that they're going to be able to talk to every single recruiter, every single person that was at the event. And the reality is, that's not going to happen if you don't have a plan. It all goes back to, what is your plan? What is your desired outcome? Because you can't talk to every company for more than 5 minutes when you go to employer networking night. It's just not realistic. There's a bunch that go there. There's a bunch more students that want to get the same opportunities that you have, that you would want. And if you don't have a plan, you're not going to be able to get it. So again, it's the same strategy. Here, when you go to the website, employer networking night, here it is. Again, the timing is not really gonna, some classes are in the afternoon to nighttime, but typically you should be fine unless you have like a club event again. But this is huge, because right here, participating employers, you can see all the companies coming, and you get a quick rundown of what they're about, what they're what they're looking for. See, there's a bunch of companies here, and you get to look at it. And not only should you look at this, you could also look at their current openings for this company here. This is on Handshake. I'm not signed in right now, but you get the deal. Again, look at their company online. Go on LinkedIn. Look at the recruiter. Again, easy stuff. What I used to do, right? Because sometimes I would forget. There's a bunch of companies here. The reality for me was, I was looking for PwC, and I wanted to talk to PwC, and I wanted to talk to Protiviti. And I also wanted to see if I had some other time for KPMG and RSM, right? So what I did was, I went to their websites, went to the LinkedIn, yada, 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 did my research, went there, and went to those companies specifically, instead of being lost, stranded, and not knowing, oh, maybe I'll talk to this company, maybe I'll talk to this company. That's a great, mindset to have, to be able to talk in abundance. But the reality is that you're not going to be able to get that opportunity. At most, you'll be able to talk to 3 companies, 3 different recruiters, because there's just a huge line at every single company, every single person that you want to talk to. There'll be 5 to 10 kids waiting in line, especially at the bigger companies. So that's why it's important to make this plan of action, what company you want to talk to, what result you want to get out of it, and making a straight beeline to it, to wherever they're at, wherever they're stationed, and asking for opportunities, or asking more about the company, more about the experience, because this is where you get your foot in the door. Okay. Hopefully this helped. It was just a quick little rundown, but this is how you essentially master Career Week. It's all about planning, and it's all about forecasting and knowing what result you want out of it. A lot of people just go to Career Week, expect, oh shoot, I didn't make any plan. I just went to this company, that company, talked a little bit, and thought that, like magic, you're going to get an internship. That's just not how it works, especially for employer networking night, because it's just one day, a bunch of volume of students. You're not going to be able to talk to every single company. That's why I personally love the Career Week itself, with the different designated events on the different days, because that gives you more of an opportunity to talk to the recruiter and the people that work at the company one-on-one, and it's just a greater experience. You get more time, you get more of a conversation, more out of it, and that's how I was able to get my internship, and that's how I was able to grow my network, along with utilizing LinkedIn to do networking calls and the such. So hopefully this gave you some insight. If you have any more questions, please let me know. I'm always glad to help. I want to help. So I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.